welcome to this news hour on Equinoxe television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. I am Babla Jonathan. Days after the start of the 2021-2022 academic year, several children forced out of their homes by the crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of the country and who are now seeking refuge in different parts of the country are still out of school due to financial constraints provoked by hardship resulting from the displacement from their areas of residence. And we'll show you what is happening with some of the children in the west region of the country. Some of the children who are still unable to go to school. Their right to education is seriously tampered with. Also in this newscast, we'll take you to a locality known as the headquarters of Prawns in the southwest region of the country, and we're going to take you into the heart of the prawns business in Mabeta. And out of the country, the regional bloc, the West African regional bloc, is mounting pressure on the military in Guinea-Conakry to impose a return or to facilitate a return to constitutional order and the release of President Alpha Condé. Stay with us. They have the right to education, but this right is being seriously tampered with as a result of the security tensions pulling on for close to 5 years today in the northwest and southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon. They are IDP children displaced by the crisis and who are now seeking refuge in different parts of the country, in the littoral, in the west, in the center, and other regions of the Republic of Cameroon. Those in the west region, many of them in number, are unable to resume school because of financial constraints, hardship provoked by the displacement of their parents in the Anglophone crisis regions to the other parts of the country. Glory Mala has more.
Mother in the market instead of being at school with your friends. These children won't be able to resume school this 2021-2022 academic year in Chang West region due to lack of finances. They are the internally displaced persons from the crisis-hit regions of the northwest and southwest. We don't have the means to send them to school because we ran from the crisis. This parent himself, an IDP, says he was involved in cash cropping, an activity through which he used to feed his family. But having been displaced to Chang, he could not continue with this activity.
But before the crisis and after the crisis, I decided to leave. So when I got here, there was nothing I could do. I was managing a bit of a kada to feed the children. But now the kada too is down. There's no means to repair. My children also are in the house, as you can see them around. There's no money for the schooling.
During his visit to Chang, Governor of the West Region, Awafonka Augustine, alongside Minister of Social Affairs Pauline Irene, promised government assistance to the IDPs. Months after, some families in Chang are still suffering without a dime.
That's why I want to plead for the government at least to assist us. Seeing to it that they assist us to lead these children school first, because I want to schooling first.
The arms conflict in the northwest has displaced close to 1 million internally and over 50,000 externally. Observers see children, like other vulnerable groups of these war victims, are paying heavy price with their future compromised. Just like the internally displaced kids in Chang, several other displaced children will not be able to study this academic year because of the lack of means.
In Ezeka, in the Nyong-Ankele Division, Central Region of the Republic of Cameroon, academic activities have not yet resumed in full gear in rural areas. In many of the rural areas, academic activities are yet to start, and we bring to you details with these images sent to us by our correspondent Ishwel Nyem. The report is compiled by Innocent.
Most schools in Iseka in the Nyonkele division of the Central Region till present are yet to effectively resume, as very few pupils and students have been receiving lessons since September 6th, especially in the suburbs. We started a tour in schools in the rural areas. Resumption in most of them remains very timid.
Il n'y avait que la directrice, l'école publique de Vorso, 13 élèves.
Visiting schools in the urban area, the scenario was different. Schools started very effectively with lessons dished out to students.
L'école a repris avec les cours déjà dispensés.
One of the school administrators confirms but highlights late registration.
The resumption is effective here in Saint Laurent Bilingual School Complex, Iseka, and everything is going well. All the teachers are there, no one is absent, and we are thinking that we will go forward to achieve our goals. But it's like parents were there waiting the effective resumption to come, so that today we have many parents in front of us.
Elsewhere, preventive measures are taken to curb spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. We ensure students have their hands sanitized once they arrive here. Water is made available for hand washing. They are compelled to wear their face mask before entering their classrooms.
Nous avons puisé dans notre stock et nous avons donné aux nouveaux qui ne maîtrisaient pas encore les règles du jeu.
Installation of surveillance cameras to enhance security of students, teachers, including visitors, as was instructed by the Ministry of Secondary Education, has been respected in some schools. Being the first week of school resumption, security elements have been present at major roundabouts to control vehicles for children to safely get to their respective schools and back home.
And the National Gendarmerie is stepping up the fight against insecurity in the locality of Iseka, tracking down suspected criminals. And elements of the Gendarmerie brigade in Iseka have arrested a man who is suspected to have stolen a taxi. The 23-year-old who was arrested in Iseka by Commander Benjamin Asiasi, who said the young man was arrested after information came to them from their informant on the ground about a stolen taxi, and the car was stolen in that part of the country. Nku reports that he says that they drugged the driver of the taxi before making away with the car, and he will be presented to the court to judges in the days ahead. Now to the southwest region of the country, more than 1,000 trainees of the Rapid Intervention Battalion have engaged in a 400-kilometer walk from Limbe to Manjo in the west region of the Mongo division of the west littoral region of the country, and they are engaging in this exercise as part of their training to be qualified as soldiers of the Rapid Intervention Battalion. David Simaimo has more.
Ça c'est le symbole, c'est le Cameroun. On s'engage, porte le Cameroun. Nous sommes le bouclier du Cameroun. Nous sommes là pour protéger tout le monde, la population et leurs biens. C'est pour ça qu'on est formé.
4 a.m. Manawa Bay in Limbe. The 2021 recruit of the Rapid Intervention Battalion of the Cameroon Elite Force, with French acronym B, receiving command from Captain Musa Amadou, director of the B Training Center, as they embarked on a 400-kilometer walk that shall eventually end them to put on the uniform of this special defense unit. Carrying close to 10 kilograms of luggage, including other gadgets, the young men walked through the city of Limbe before engaging the Limbe-Mutengana stretch of road.
It's not because of money that I'm here. It's because I love my country and I vow to die for my country. This is where I've seen harmony, I've seen friendship. We are like family.
Though they are filled with much enthusiasm, some sustain injuries after falling due to fatigue and other malaise.
The journey is very, very serious. As a matter of fact, we have to do it. We have to protect the nation. the country have to have security, enough security, in order that peace should be maintained.
Okay. I want to defend my country. I want to stop all the terrorism in the country.
It is expected they shall return at Manawa Bay on Wednesday, the 15th of September, after going through Limbe, Kappa, Mombo, and Manjo to and fro on foot.
Now for greater details on this, here's an extract of Major Poka Njepang. He is the commander of the B Training Center in Manawa Bay. He spoke to Davidson Maimo.
This is the 400 kilometers raid led by the training center. As the last step of this training, we have been physically and mentally prepared the young recruits to board this step so as to be really confirmed as soldiers in Cameroon Army and much more specifically in Rapid Intervention Battalion. This is a 400 kilometers growing from Limbe, Mutengene, Douala Bekoko until Manjo, and we come back. We're going to run through it for a round of 11 days. 11 days we are going to finish with no more recruits, but elite soldiers bound to serve, bound to be the shield of the nation.
And onto something else now. We talk about prawns. I told you earlier that will take you to a locality known as the headquarters of prawns in the southwest region of the country, and talking about Mabeta. Smart Jikan Gabriel was there, and he takes us into the heart of the prawns business.
In Babila Jonathan, this is Mabeta. When you get the name Mabeta, the first thing that comes to your mind is crayfish. This is the headquarters of crayfish in the southwest region. 70% of what we consume in Cameroon is coming from Mabeta. But how do these people go about their activity catching crayfish? We have a friend here. Hello, how are you doing?
I'm fine, sir.
Okay, you explain to us what you people do before you go to the sea to get this crayfish. I see a pot there, and I see some nets there and a stick there. So tell us, what is that pot doing on that place?
They cook net that for that pot for carrying go fishing, so that when they cook it will black. Okay, so that is why we cook that net.
If you carry it white, what happens to it?
No, we no use on white, so we get for cook before we carry go fishing.
Why? Is it because the color is attractive to some things?
Yes, because that black is trap for crayfish will enter inside.
If you people carry black, crayfish will not see it.
Yes.
And if you put white,
crayfish go fear for enter. That is why we cook, so that make it crayfish enter inside.
It's like if it was drying crayfish, right? Yes. Is this the first stage?
Yes, that is the place where we used to drive nyanga. Where the nyanga enter, we can't drive for a banda. This is what they call a banda.
This is the first stage of the crayfish being dried. You must have understood what our friend told us. From there, if you look down there, it is stage 2 of crayfish being dried. Mabeta is well known because of crayfish, and crayfish brought many of those who are living here together. It is on this canoe, later in the evening, that inhabitants go out for crayfish. For Equinoxe Television News, we are Robert Mukube, Smart Njikan Gabriel, in Mabeta.
Thank you, Smart Jikan Gabriel, for that report. Out of the country, the West African Regional Bloc is mounting pressure on the military in Guinea-Conakry for a return to constitutional order and the release of President Alpha Condé. Details with Immaculate Fogwe.
Guinea's recent coup was the main topic of discussion during the virtual summit that brought together leaders of the Economic Community of West African States. The teleconference held on September 8th had as main resolution the suspension of Guinea's membership days after the military coup that ousted President Alpha Condé. They equally ordered for the return of the constitutional order and the immediate release of the president, who was arrested by Lieutenant Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya on Sunday. The leaders have unanimously agreed to send a mission to Guinea in the days ahead. These resolutions comes few days after the coup sparked widespread condemnation from the international community. 83-year-old Alpha Condé became the first democratically elected president in 2010 and was re-elected in 2015. But last year, Condé pushed through a constitutional change to allow himself to run for a third term, a move his opponents said was illegal. Guinea's coup leader Doumbouya has promised to install a unified transitional government, but he has not said when or how it will occur.
And that's it for the first part of this newscast. Talking Point is up next. Joining us from the United States of America, Albert Edeme Ebini is a civil society leader and IT security data architect. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, you're part of the initiative Diaspora for 2025 Change. What's it all about?
Yeah, thank you very much, Equinoxe, and thank you, Jonathan Babila, inviting me to talk about the peace process that most leaders in the United States, especially the leaders from Southwest, Northwest, Littoral, which I am from, to come together to make sure that the peace process that our chiefs started previous year to go from Littoral to Southwest to East to Center to talk about the peace in Cameroon. We try to carry it out from this side. You know, United States is a stronghold of people sponsoring what's happening in Cameroon. Children are not going to school. Many of them are killed. Innocent children are dying. Places have been burned. And the stronghold of people sponsoring this type of atrocity is here in the United States. So with the help and the powerful help of our ambassador, Ambassador Etudi, we started the initiative to start talking with the local people, the groups, the association. And that's why last 2 weekends we had a meeting with most of the chiefs coming all over, with the ambassador that was invited by Chief Banjo the third, to be able to start engaging with the community so that the problem, especially the back to school, which we care a lot about our children to go to school safely, we need to make sure that this process, on this our side, the people that are sponsoring most of these groups may understand the value of education, may understand that the history of our country did not start just after the Second World War. And the history of our country started a long time ago. And we are not Francophone or Anglophone. We are Cameroonian. And, when I always talk to many people, I always tell them that Cameroon is not a French, either English country. Cameroon have languages. We have the most languages all over the world, like 256 languages. And we cannot define ourselves based on what the colonial master have given us on French and English. That's what this process is about. That's how we're coming together, to rally as many people.
You're part of those who want to bring the diasporans together. You're part of those who want to assemble Cameroonians in the United States and beyond to be able to contribute in looking for a pathway to peace. in Cameroon, especially in the crisis-stricken regions of the northwest and southwest. How do you intend to do this when we know that the diaspora is divided? There are people who are on the extreme, there are people who are moderate, there are other people who are actually standing nowhere. How do you intend to unite all these people in order to look for a pathway that will be acceptable, that will meet the aspirations of the people?
The pain that this crisis has caused every single Cameroonian is notable from all levels. And there's a time for everything. And many of our fellow Cameroonians, for those that have different view of how Cameroon have to be, some of them say that the 10-state federation, some of them say that decentralization, some of them say that no, they want to be by themselves, which is impossible. Some of them say that, they don't care. There's one thing that all of us have to know as human beings. You were born in that country not by mistake. You were born because you have something that you have to give. And the fact that people are dying for almost 4 years now, people are suffering, the economy is down. You just talk about the constraint of financial constraint to resume school. It's everywhere. So right now, people try to come back and say that they're going to stop financing this terrorism, this kidnapping, and let the children go back to school. Yes, it's difficult. It's difficult to bring both of them together, but as the ambassadors start coming down, we're going to see in the future moment how we're going to create forum here in diaspora that we have not had before, so that we can talk about our problem. And because you cannot just take gun and think that you're going to solve problems, you need to talk, you need to sit on the table. And we started by the grand debate that we had in Yaoundé, and that gives us the leverage of giving special status on those areas. So yes, people have to request on their grievances, but it's not to go extreme, to take gun. So that's why the people that are sponsoring them in this area, we try to appease them, let them know that the solution is better than sponsoring them. We need to sit together in the table and see how this problem can be solved, because we are one family. I am from Douala, but my wife is Akum, and I have brother from Emanyu, Eyangatemako, stuff like that. So you cannot tell how people are already are in one, and we cannot be divided. So we need to just find solution to be together and take this country forward in a peaceful manner.
And that's the solution that it seems to be difficult to come by, because of the fact that, according to some conflict resolution experts, this solution cannot come without justice. Only justice can be the way opener for this peace that you are fighting for this peace that you are working with others to achieve. Are you thinking about that in your efforts to fight for peace in Cameroon?
That's correct. Cameroon is a country with law. Justice is always be there. But at the same time, our government and the people running our government are human beings. Many people that I know right now are joining the force, are coming from the bushes. Some of them are joining, the Cameroon party to be able to see how they can call others. Yes, there's justice. Yes, if you do wrong in Cameroon, you cannot go free. And many of them are scared to come forward because they think that that's the end for them. Some of them are going in different countries and try to build their other life there, like in Cote d'Ivoire and everything. But at the same time, you know, they always want to see their mom and everything. They want to see their family. They want to come back home. So the government knows that. The government want to work with them. The government want to see how they can, you know, talk and bring all these things in a peaceful manner. The justice about any claim that people are talking is something that, as I said in the beginning, have been putting in the midst of us, like, you know, French, English, and misuse of phone and all that. But you'll find those problems even within our family. The way to solve problems within your family is the most important thing, because all family.
Thank you very much, Albert Edeme Ebini. The take-home message from you is that all hands on deck for peace to return to the Northwest, Southwest, and the rest of the country. Thanks so much for your time. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. That's it for this edition of the program. That's it for this edition of the 6 p.m. news on Equinoxe Television. Coming up next from Yaoundé, La Presse se dispute.